Everything in this situation shifted so suddenly that it left you confused and emotionally unsettled, like you were trying to make sense of something that never fully made sense to begin with. One moment there was closeness, attention, and emotional intensity, and the next moment there was silence, distance, and unanswered questions. But this silence is not empty. It is filled with everything this person is too afraid or too prideful to say out loud. You are dealing with someone who struggles deeply with communication, especially when their emotions become too strong. Instead of expressing what they feel, they shut down. Instead of being honest, they withdraw. This is not because they don't care, but because they feel too much and don't know how to handle it. Right now, they are holding back from reaching out, even though the urge is there. Their ego is stopping them, their fear is controlling them, and their pride is keeping them silent. This person is still very aware of you. They are watching you in ways you may not even notice. They see your energy, your confidence, your presence, and it affects them deeply. When you appear happy, when you look good, when you seem to be moving forward without them, it triggers something inside them. It makes them realize what they lost, and instead of dealing with that honestly, they retreat even more into silence. There is a deep emotional wound inside this person that existed long before you. They have experienced betrayal or heartbreak that made them guarded and defensive. So when this connection became real and intense, instead of embracing it, they became overwhelmed. That overwhelming feeling led to distance, coldness, and eventually silence. The energy here reflects emotional pain and a heavy ending that was not handled properly. It feels like things ended abruptly, without clarity, leaving you to carry the confusion. The energy of the Ten of Swords reflects that painful ending, the emotional exhaustion, and the feeling of being left with nothing after giving so much. It shows how deeply this situation affected you, how it made you question everything, and how it left you trying to understand why things fell apart so suddenly. But this ending was not your fault. You did not cause this. This person simply could not handle the depth of what they felt. At the same time, the King of Wands energy shows that this person still carries strong passion, desire, and attraction toward you. They are not emotionally disconnected. They are someone who can be bold, intense, and deeply drawn to you when they feel in control. That energy is still there, but right now it is being blocked by their ego and fear. They want to come forward, but they are struggling internally. This is why you still feel them so strongly. This connection is not something that faded easily. It has a deep emotional and almost spiritual pull, which is why you find yourself thinking about them, especially during quiet moments. You may try to move on logically, but emotionally it is not that simple. That is because this connection touched something real inside you. At the same time, this separation was necessary. At that point, this person could not give you what you truly needed. They were not ready emotionally, and their actions showed that. Even though it hurt, this distance created space for you to see things more clearly. You are not the one who ruined this. You are not the one who failed. You simply encountered someone who was not ready to meet you at your level. This person also struggles with accountability. Apologizing is difficult for them. Admitting they were wrong feels like losing control. So instead of facing what they did, they chose silence. But that does not mean they are unaffected. There is guilt inside them, and it is growing. The silence they created is not bringing them peace. It is forcing them to sit with everything they avoided. Even now, you are constantly on their mind. They think about you more than they show. They miss you, but they hide it. They watch from a distance, but they pretend they don't care. They are trying to maintain control, but internally they are conflicted. This connection has not left them the way they try to act like it has. Right now, things feel stuck, and that silence is creating anxiety for you. You may feel the urge to reach out, to break the distance, to get answers. But this is not your moment to chase. This is your moment to step back and allow them to feel your absence. Let them wonder. Let them sit with their own emotions. Let them experience what life feels like without your presence. There is movement coming, even if you cannot see it yet. The energy is shifting. What has been hidden is slowly coming to the surface. This person cannot hold back forever because their thoughts and emotions about you are not going away. Eventually, that pressure will lead to action. This connection feels deep because it is deep. That is why it is hard to let go. That is why you still feel attached. But even in a deep connection, you deserve clarity, honesty, and respect. You deserve someone who can express their feelings, not hide behind silence. The truth is, this person is not as cold as they appear. They are not as detached as they pretend to be. They are just afraid, prideful, and emotionally unprepared. But everything they have been avoiding is slowly catching up to them, and the silence they chose will not last forever. I can feel how confusing and heavy this situation has been for you. This person comes through as emotionally distant, someone who struggles to express what they truly feel. Instead of being open, they hide behind sarcasm, silence, or mixed signals. At times, it even feels like they escape into distractions or unhealthy habits just to avoid facing their emotions. But even with all of this distance, this connection is not finished. The silence you've been experiencing is not permanent, and something is slowly building behind the scenes. For a while now, everything has felt stuck between you and this person. There has been a strong push and pull, where one moment things feel close and the next moment they completely withdraw. This has left you feeling rejected and confused, like you gave real love but did not receive the same energy back. You may have questioned yourself, wondering what you did wrong, but the truth is this situation says more about their emotional struggles than it does about your worth. There was a painful breaking point here, a moment where everything felt like it collapsed. The energy around it feels very heavy, like deep hurt, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of loss that stayed with you. You may still find yourself thinking about them, going back to old memories, rereading messages, trying to understand why things changed so suddenly. That pain was real, and it left a mark on your heart. But that ending was not meant to destroy the connection, it was meant to transform it. At the same time, this person carries a strong and intense energy. They can be confident, passionate, and determined when they want something, but emotionally they are not as stable as they appear. Deep down, they struggle with insecurity and the fear of not being enough. This is why they pulled away. It was not because they didn't care, but because they didn't feel ready to handle something this deep. When things became real, they chose distance instead of vulnerability. Even now, they have not let you go. They are still watching you more than you realize, checking your social media, noticing what you post, paying attention to your life from a distance. They may not be speaking, but they are thinking about you. There's a part of them that misses you deeply, even if they try to hide it. They remember what you gave them, and they are starting to understand that it was something rare. You, on the other hand, have been carrying a lot of emotions. You may feel lonely, hurt, and stuck between wanting to move on and still feeling connected to them. Normally, you would not tolerate this kind of inconsistency. You are not someone who waits around for games or silence. But with this person, it feels different. No matter how much you try to detach, the feelings are still there. That is because this connection touched you on a deeper level. This person regrets how they handled things. They regret the distance, the silence, and the way they acted like they didn't care. Some of them may have even chosen other priorities over you, and now they are realizing the weight of that decision. But instead of facing it directly, they have been distracting themselves, trying to avoid the truth. At the same time, they are not in a good place emotionally. There is stress, heaviness, or some kind of burden they are dealing with, and it has made them withdraw even more. But this silence is not the end. It feels like a pause, a temporary break where both of you are being pushed to grow. You have been learning your worth and your strength, while they are being forced to face the emptiness of losing you. And now, there is a shift happening. Communication that has been blocked feels like it is opening again. A message, a conversation, or some kind of contact is coming, and it feels like it will be different from before. This person has been thinking about you a lot, especially in quiet moments. They miss your presence, your energy, the way you cared for them. They may not admit it, but they feel it. At the same time, you may have been feeling signs like something is about to happen, like the story is not over. That feeling is not random. The energy here shows that something is changing, even if you cannot fully see it yet. What this connection needs now is patience and healing. When this person comes back, it cannot be the same version of them that left. They need to grow, to understand their actions, and to be able to meet you in a better way. And it feels like they are slowly moving in that direction, even if it is taking time. This connection does not feel one-sided. Both of you still carry each other in your hearts. Even with the distance, even with the silence, there is still a strong bond here. What you felt was real, and what they feel is real too. It just hasn't been expressed properly yet. This is not the end of the story. It is the space in between where things are shifting, healing, and preparing for a new beginning. Something is about to change, and when it does, it will bring clarity that you have been waiting for. This person feels a strong pull toward you that goes beyond just physical attraction. Yes, they are very drawn to your appearance and your energy, but it's deeper than that. You have something about you that keeps them thinking, keeps them coming back in their mind, even when they try to distract themselves. They are naturally charming, someone who knows how to speak in a way that pulls people in. And at one point, they truly imagined having something stable and long-term with you. But instead of giving consistency, they gave you words without action, promises without follow-through. And that is where the pain started to grow. What makes this connection intense is that you challenged them in a way no one else has. You didn't just accept surface-level behavior. You made them feel deeply, and that scared them. They're not good at handling emotions, especially when things get serious. So instead of opening up, they became distant, emotionally unavailable, and hard to read. That's why you started to feel like they didn't love you, even though deep down you sensed something real. The truth is, they do have feelings, but they don't know how to express them properly, and that creates confusion and emotional imbalance between you both. Even in silence, this person is not disconnected from you. They think about you a lot, especially at night when everything becomes quiet. They try to stay busy with work, money, or other distractions, but their thoughts always return to you. They miss you in ways they don't admit. They replay memories, they imagine scenarios, and they feel your absence more than they show. Even if there is no communication, they are still watching you in quiet ways, checking up on you, curious about your life, and feeling that tension just as strongly as you are. This connection has not been easy. It feels like something that has gone in circles, with moments of hope followed by disappointment. You believed things would change, that they would finally step up, but instead you ended up feeling stuck, drained, and emotionally exhausted. That heavy, painful energy is very clear here. It shows a point where everything became too much, where the emotional weight of this connection started breaking you down. It reflects the hurt from broken promises, the silence, the arguments, the distance, and the feeling that you were carrying more than your heart could handle. You may have felt betrayed, overwhelmed, and mentally tired from trying to understand something that never gave you clear answers. At the same time, this person carries a strong and powerful presence. When they are confident, they are bold, passionate, and very hard to ignore. They have a natural fire in them, a kind of energy that draws people in and makes them stand out. Their attraction toward you is not weak, it is intense. They desire you, they think about you, and when they feel something, they feel it strongly. But the problem is not their passion, it is their inconsistency. One moment they seem sure, intense, and ready, and the next moment they pull back, become distant, and shut down emotionally. This push and pull is what has kept you confused and emotionally stuck. They are also very guarded. There are wounds inside them that they have not healed, fears they have not faced, and a deep fear of being vulnerable or losing control. They may have been hurt before or carry emotional baggage that makes them avoid opening up fully. So even though they feel connected to you, they resist it at the same time. This creates a situation where you feel everything deeply while they hide behind walls, pride, and silence. You may feel this connection in a way that is hard to explain. It's like you can sense their emotions, like you are not only dealing with your own feelings, but also theirs. That's why it feels overwhelming and hard to let go. You keep seeing reminders of them, thinking about them randomly, feeling their presence even when they are not physically there. It makes you question yourself, but deep down you know this connection is not ordinary. It feels unfinished, like something is still tied between you both. What makes it even harder is that you know, deep inside, that they love you in their own way, even if they haven't expressed it properly. That inner knowing is what keeps you holding on, even when everything around you tells you to let go. But love without action has caused you pain, and that pain is real. You have been drained by the back and forth, by the silence, by the lack of clarity, and by feeling like you are carrying more than you should. This person knows they owe you an apology. They know they didn't handle things the right way. They know there are things left unsaid. But they are dealing with their own inner struggles right now, whether it's fear, anxiety, emotional burdens, or even unhealthy habits that keep them stuck. They may act fine on the outside, but inside they are not as stable as they appear. There is strong energy of them wanting to reach out. It feels like they have thought about messaging you many times, typing and deleting, going back and forth in their mind. They are holding back, but not because they don't care. It's because they are afraid and unsure. Still, that pressure is building, and it won't stay silent forever. It feels like communication is coming, and it may happen when you least expect it. Right now, you are standing between your heart and your mind. Your heart still feels the connection, still believes in what you felt, while your mind is tired of the pain and confusion. This situation has pushed you to your emotional limits, but it has also shown you how deeply you can feel and how strong your intuition really is. This connection is not over energetically. There are still feelings, still tension, still something unresolved between you both. But whatever happens next needs to bring clarity and peace, not more confusion. Because even though this bond is deep, you deserve something that feels stable, honest, and real, not something that keeps hurting you while leaving you guessing. There is a conversation coming, likely early in the morning, and it won't be casual. This is something they've been holding in for a long time, and now the truth is ready to come out. This person feels the same way you do, but they've been stopping themselves again and again, typing messages and deleting them, unsure how to face you after everything that happened. There is regret here. Things were said, things were left unsaid, and the silence between you both became heavy. You felt ignored, maybe even hurt by the distance, while they struggled with their own pride and emotions. The energy of the Ten of Swords shows that this situation reached a painful breaking point, but also that the worst part is over. The silence was a turning point, not the end. The King of Wands shows this person clearly. Strong, passionate, but very ego-driven. They don't like to admit when they're wrong, and that's why they've held back. But now they're reaching a point where they can't anymore. Your distance has made them feel your absence deeply, and it's making them realize what they're about to lose. This connection is not something light. It started strong, moved fast, and even with distance or silence, it hasn't faded. You may be waiting, checking your phone, feeling anxious, but they think about you too. They may act like they don't care, but that's not the truth. They've just been hiding behind pride. They may have tried to get your attention indirectly, but now that energy is shifting. They're going to reach out, and it will come from a real place. Not just small talk, but something emotional, something honest. They're still healing parts of themselves, which is why they acted the way they did. but their feelings for you are real. This silence was necessary for them to understand what you truly mean to them. Now everything is moving toward clarity. The pain has reached its limit, and the person who held back is finally ready to act. A message is coming, and with it, the truth you've been waiting to hear.